Look, if you need a big art pick-me-up, hop right into these arms. I got you. And if you want to learn what recently helped me going through a difficult period of art in my life, listen up and try these out, because I think this will help you too. All right, so to lay the groundwork for you, the last 3 months have been pretty rough for me artistically, and I've been having some trouble just keeping some positive momentum in my art life and sticking to the things that I want to, and even sometimes just mustering up the energy to work on things that I know that I should. And has that been the same way for you too? Because if so, I know what you're going through. And then along with that too, I really can sum it up to this. Just a few months ago, I graduated from my doctorate, and writing my dissertation completely just knocked the wind out of my sail. And I have just had so much trouble just trying to keep up with what I'm doing, and also to sustain the momentum that I used to have about a year ago. And by the way, if you've never met me before, my name is Dr. Sean, and welcome to the Art Mentor. And so just to put it out there though, I'm not burnt out. I'd actually call it more artistic recoil. And if you've never heard of that term, it's a phenomena that I coined, and I made a whole video about it. I'll put a link down below in the description, because most people think that they have burnout when it's actually that instead. But just think of it as whiplash for your art. And so to fast forward to today, I want to share with you some of the habits, some of the strategies, and some of the mindsets that really help push me through to get me back to where I know that I should be right now. And I think that this will help you too. And I've got one major ask from you, and it's a real small one. But as we go through this, right, I don't want you to just go through this and just listen to this. All right, that's great. Love you, appreciate you for that. But I want you to actually figure out which of these things that you can use starting right by the end of this video, so that you can get back on the horse and you can get back to your creative life. Because honestly, if you're just gonna listen to me, you're not gonna change your life, and you're not gonna get back to what you want to be, and it's not gonna build the life that you want. But if you try these things, I know you will. All right, kicking us off, right? Because you've got a rough time re-engaging or just engaging, period, right? And so I want to share with you something that I started to do years ago when I was recording these very videos, okay? Because I've been running this channel for about 5 years at this point, and I just want to be real with you. There are some points that I don't feel like doing this. There are some mornings that I come in here and I'm just like, I really don't want to do this. I'm not feeling it right now. I'm way too tired. I've got too much to do. And I sit down in front of this camera and I figured out, okay, I need to change something about my approach to this. And so this is also what I do with my art, by the way, too. And so one of the things that you don't see, but I do every single time I hit record on one of these videos, is I have what I call an ignition phrase. And you need to come up with some string of words that will immediately shock your system and help trigger you into who you are. So for me, every single time I hit record, I say these words. Let's change some artists' lives. Here we go. That's literally what I do. Look, I'm gonna show you right now. Let's change some artists' lives. Here we go. Let's change some artists' lives. Here we go. Let's change some artists' lives. Here we go. And so why do I do this? All right, I'm not lying to myself. It's just that I'm trying to go ahead and communicate to myself and my body what my purpose is. What is my mission? What is something that I want to do? And please, for the love of God, don't make this some huge Bible verse that you need to go ahead and actually recite, all right? But go ahead and just try and make it simple. Try and make it very poignant. Try and make it very pithy, so that you and your body and your mouth and your mind, you're all on the same page, okay? It just kind of sparks you. Y'all, this is kind of like reverse brainwashing, all right? It's almost like if you're a sleeper cell agent. So it's in that same vein of thought that you can actually use that on yourself. You can literally ignite yourself through your ignition phrase to go ahead and perform your task. And remember what you're not doing as well, because we'll talk about that today too. But at the outset, come up with that phrase that will immediately bring you back to your senses and your purpose. Next one. All right, y'all remember The Lion King? All right, that was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And there's this really pivotal moment in there that really helped me devise this strategy. So, do y'all remember the moment when Simba is an adult and he's standing on that cliff, he's looking up at the clouds in the night sky, and Mufasa's face comes down, and what does Mufasa say? Simba, remember who you are. In that moment, I just remembered thinking you know what? I think we do need to remember who you are. And so my next strategy for you is that I want you to declare who the heck you are very loud and very proud. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you, all right? So when I'm having that moment of weakness, when I'm having that moment of doubt, when I'm having that moment, sometimes too, of even resentment of like, I really don't want to do this. I'd rather play this game that I just picked up. I will go ahead and declare who the heck I am. I am Sean frickin' Bianchi. I am Dr. frickin' Sean Bianchi. I will declare that to myself. And I want you to use whatever phrase. Listen, you can use the more explicit F word in there, okay? Yeah, get yourself all fired up, however you need to, friend. But go ahead and just say it. And listen, you might not even have anything right now to be proud of. You might be like, well, Sean, why the heck would I want to declare my name? I'm a complete frickin' loser. I know how that feels. I was too. Most of my life. Total, huge loser. Double L over this guy right here. I know how you feel, but here's why I want you to start to do this. First off, it will develop some pride, some confidence in yourself. It will help to trigger you into doing the things that you should be doing artistically that will bring you to the place that you want to be. Because if you can't be that hype man for yourself, if you can't be your own cheer squad, let's just be real. It ain't ever gonna happen. Sometimes what I think people do detrimentally is that they wait for that big giant fanfare and that Mardi Gras parade that's going to come out behind them, and then they'll be like, oh, well, now I can finally do what I want to do, what I need to do. Wrong. It won't happen. If you can't hype yourself up, no one else is going to do it for you. So declare your name. Loud, proud, I am blank, frickin', or any other F word, blank. Do it right there. Moving on. Here's a goodie, and this is something that I think about, okay? Sometimes when I have those moments of weakness, when I have those moments of distraction, okay? I know I should be working on this right now, but I don't really feel it, but I just don't. I just make that choice. No, I'd rather not. I'd rather watch this, do this, play that, do something else. Then I wake up the next morning and I'm assaulted with this. And so the next thing I want you to think about is what I call the guilt tax. Because in those moments, when I made the choice the day before to not do what I promised myself to do, I wake up, and I'm gonna be real, I don't feel any better. It doesn't help. In fact, what I wake up with is a sense of guilt. And that's just because art means a lot to me. And it probably means a lot to you, my friend, am I right? And so a lot of times what we'll do is we'll put things off and we think that it's gonna make things better. But it rarely ever does. And instead, when this happens to me, I wake up with a guilt tax, and then I don't feel better. I actually feel more irritable. I feel more concerned. I feel more anxious, and I don't feel any more empowered than that. I might feel a little bit more rested, but honestly, I don't feel rested because I'm still stricken with this guilt. And so the thing that I want to offer for you, friend, is that any single time that you're putting something off, two things are happening. A, you are waking up with the guilt tax, and then B, too, is that you're breaking a promise to yourself. And when you break a promise to yourself, you teach yourself that you can't be trustworthy. And so you might think that things are going to be easier down the line. But just like if you have a bill that's past due, it doesn't get easier to pay it. They just keep on adding on interest. So what interest are you allowing to accrue? Because in the other end, if you make those deposits, you'll allow the interest to accrue in your favor. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's bring up this issue. And I bet you're a big P, aren't you? You might be a procrastinator. Is this you? And so can we just be completely transparent? What are you doing with your time? Well, I'm going to go on a limb here and say you're not sitting in a field staring up at the clouds for 6 hours a day. I'm also going to guess you're probably not sitting on your floor and looking straight up at the ceiling for all that time, right? No, what are you doing? You're staring at a glowing screen. And so that brings up this that really helps me consider that. And it's this quote I'm going to read for you right now. It says, procrastination is the arrogance of man that he has more time on this earth than he actually does. Now, I want that to sink in. I'm going to say that to you one more time. Procrastination is the arrogance of man that he thinks he has more time on this earth than he actually does. Please let that hit home for you. And so the next thing that puts me into this really positive mindset towards being more productive is I think about the economy of mortality. Your life is going by. Every single moment we are decaying. Sorry, but spoiler alert, we all die. And at the end of that life, you're either going to think, well, I used my time and I did the things I wanted to, or I made the efforts at least towards the thing I wanted to, or I'm gonna have massive regrets about that. And so if we, again, take a look at our lives through the economy of mortality, and you take a look at all the time that you have not on essential tasks, just to be clear on that, not the stuff that you have to do, but just when you have extra time. Imagine that every single moment, every single minute cost you $1. Imagine that you had to do that. How many of you, by the end of the month, would have thousands of dollars owed? A lot of us, right? And so think about that economy of your mortality. Think about what your procrastination is, and think about the fact that you might be misusing your life in a way that's not bringing it towards the one that you even want. This next habit, this one's a doozy, and I love giving this one out. And it's honestly one too, though, that a lot of people rage on me about whenever I suggest it. And so if you are somebody who really struggles with discipline, who really struggles with making positive shifts in their habits, and especially if you're somebody who's glued to a glowing rectangle every single day, this is going to help you massively. So if you're somebody right now who can't make the voluntary decision to just turn off the TV, turn off the game, and do anything else, go ahead and buy yourself an electronic timer. Why do I recommend this? Because in your choice is your weakness. And I'll give you an example about me here. If you roll a salad and a chocolate cake in front of me, I'm not touching that salad except for to be like a cat and just nudge that salad right off into the trash can. And I'm gonna just destroy that cake. So, in the same vein of thought, stop putting it in front of your face and expecting you not to give into it because you're already weak to it. Take away the choice. And that is how you can start to build the habits that you want. And so I want to also put this into a more proven research context for you. Do you know how much time is required for you to have a little bit of resistance in order to not do something? It's 12 seconds. That's it. 12 seconds. If something happens and you have to think through and perform a task for 12 seconds or greater, you're most likely not going to do it. That's what research has proven. And so just think about it. Like if you're in the middle of an intense gaming session and power goes off, instantly everything shuts down. What do you have to do? Okay, now I gotta get my butt up. I gotta walk over. I have to unplug it. I have to plug it back in. I have to turn this on. I have to turn my TV back on. I have to switch the input. Then I have to log back into the game. And you're like, oh. But here's what that does. Within that 12-second span, your brain has space. It has space to reconsider what you want to do and what you need to do. And you want to let that invade because honestly, like when you're again in front of the glowing rectangle, you don't have any time to think. It's taking that from you. So what I say is counter that by taking away the choice to keep inundating yourself with it. Try it out. It works. And if you want more stuff that works like this in order to grow yourself into a great artist and into a great art business person too, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe because I'm here for you every single week giving you actionable advice just like this. And if this video is helping you, please share it with other artists so that we can help them get back on this artistic horse too. And also please hype this up too so that YouTube knows, hey, this is a goodie. I appreciate it. And we got plenty more. Let's continue. Moving on. This strategy I'm about to lay out for you, I never realized it at the time, but my grandfather used to do this, okay? And so every single time that he needed to get up in his old age, of course, he would put his hands on the side of the couch or the chair, 3, 2, 1, and then he'd pull himself up. Do you have a grandparent that does that too? Or do you do this already? Because this is the next strategy that works super well for you, okay? And it's called the countdown. So give yourself a countdown, like literally just put yourself into the seat. You are mission control, you are NASA, and put yourself in that position there where you have to count down and do something. And so what this does is it breaks a moment of weakness. And so let's just say again that you are in the middle of that awesome show. You really want to go into the next episode, but you know you got to close that window. You have to shut down that app. You have to put down that controller. And you're having that moment of indifference where you're like, do I do this? Again, this is to interrupt your cycle. Give yourself that countdown. 3, 2, 1, click, turn off, power off, everything. Get into what you need to do. When you're having that moment, you might be staring at your screen right on over here, and you're supposed to be drawing on it instead of watching it. And you don't know if you want to open up your drawing program. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Open it. Just start. You're having that moment, you're staring at that blank canvas. 3, 2, 1. Just start something. Take away the choice for you to actually give into your weakness and actually put yourself out there so that you are forced to do action. And the countdown is a great way because, again, we've been trained since we were little tykes here. That 3, 2, 1, boom, something cool is gonna happen. Boom, cool explosion. Ooh, rocket ship takes off. And what if your life could take off just from doing that too? Because it works. Now for these next few, I'm gonna get a little bit psychological with you here, but this is really gonna be powerful. So bear with me on this first one here. I'm gonna hit really home for everybody that's a parent, for everybody that wants kids, likes kids, or if you hate kids and you just got a friend, here's how I want you to think about it. What if your child was doing exactly what you're doing right now and had the same problems that you're professing to have? What would you do? What would it be like for you to sit there and kind of vicariously watch yourself as a child that you are responsible for, that you are there to mentor and guide through life, and you saw them doing the same things, not living up to their potential, not doing the tasks that'll actually move mountains, putting themselves into positions where life is going to be much more difficult instead of much easier for them? As a parent, you would be like, oh my God, I gotta help them out. I gotta try and steer them. I gotta try and, show them the light. Or let's just say this too. Let's say that you don't have kids, don't want kids, screw kids. Let's just put this into another context. Let's say that you have a friend and your friend was literally right in front of you and they're just crying their eyes out and they're coming to you in that moment of vulnerability and they're telling you everything that is going wrong. And you, as a good friend, you want to help them. And so why this is more powerful is because a lot of times we are so much better at handling, counseling, and mentoring people that are not ourselves. And so if you really suck at bringing yourself up and caring for yourself, start to think of yourself like you're somebody else. Start to imagine, how would I approach my best friend? How would I approach my child? How would I approach my spouse if they came to me with these same concerns? Because if you're like, oh my God, I can't put down the games, I can't stay on task, I can't actually do this, and I'm so avoiding that. So start looking at yourself like you are your own child. And what would you say and do for them? Moving on. This one is going to be inspired by one of my recent videos. And so let's just pretend that your life is a video game. Who of you would want to play your life? And I'm talking like just bare bones basics. Not you going day to day and, oh, look, now you're in persona battles at night. This is not a farming sim where like all this cool jazzy things happens and you can build a barn and marry 7 wives. That's not going to happen. And again, in that context, there's no catastrophe that's going to happen and you're going to all of a sudden jump into the hero role. Not going to happen. How many of you would want to play a video game every single day where the character is exactly like you, says and does the things that you're doing, and only performs the habits and actions that is available for you? How many of you would want to just play a game where the character just comes home from work or doesn't go to work and all they do all day is they just sit down in front of a glowing rectangle and that's it? Nobody? I'm not surprised, because a lot of times we tend to take ourselves out of the role of being the main character. That's what I want to put forth to you. What if you could do exciting things? What if you could build your life into something where it would be fun to play? Because just to put this into another context, like you probably know somebody where you're like, oh man, wouldn't it be great to wake up in their shoes? Like imagine you just woke up in their skin, you get to live their life just for like a day. What would that be like for you, right? But what if that could be you? Because that could be you, my friend. So what if you started to think of yourself like a game, and how would I make this exciting? How would this be inspiring? Imagine you were watching an anime of your life. Like, would it be interesting, or would you probably dump out after the first episode? Because y'all, here's what I want to encourage you. Y'all get off the sidelines and stop being an NPC, because otherwise, all that's going to do is that the timer of your life is just going to keep ticking by and no one's going to play it. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to combat one of the biggest misconceptions that you have. Most of the time, A lot of people think, I just need to do these 3 things. Oh, I just need to do this and that. And that invites a lot of opposition from you, because you might think, well, to turn around my life, I got to do all these things. Oh my God, now it's going to interrupt this, and I'm not going to have time for that. Oh, I need work-life balance and all this stuff. And that's going to go ahead and dissuade you from actually doing what you want. So let me just flip this paradigm on its head. That's all wrong. You don't need to be doing 17 other tasks. You don't need to introduce this junk into your life. No, friend. Here's the next thing that's going to really level you up. You need to think and understand that the magic is in what you are avoiding. I'm going to put this into a very clear context for you here. I would much rather you go ahead and address your bad habits rather than start new habits. So you might think to yourself, oh my God, if I need to get into shape, what do I need to do? I need to count calories. You might be like, oh wow, I need to go ahead and I need to work out 7 times a day. I need to make sure that I go to the gym, and then the gym is like 15 to 30 minutes away. Oh my God, that's like an hour of my life every single time. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sweat. I'm gonna have to take another shower every single day. Whoa, slow that. In that role, why don't we just start with this? Stop eating out every single day. Because unless you're rich, you can't afford it anyways. Fast food is not cheap, y'all. And so in the same thing in your art life, stop worrying about the 17 things that you need to do, the 3 things that you need to do, because the magic that you're looking for is in you stopping the bad things that are not helping you. And they might not be bad. Listen, I still like to watch shows. I still like to watch my anime. I still like to play my games. But I don't do it anywhere near as much as what I used to when I was much younger, which was all the frickin' time, and then I used to complain that I didn't have enough time to make art. So start thinking about what's consuming your time so that you stop consuming your life and your precious time on this earth. You see, if you just tackle the things that are getting in your way, you will all of a sudden have way more room for the things that you actually want to do. But again, the common lie is that you need to do this laundry list of stuff. It's wrong. Don't fall for it. And even you might be thinking to yourself, well, Sean, that's all great, but you don't understand me. You don't understand my traumas. You don't understand my tribulations. There's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I just can't make this work. But I want to pose that and just let you know this, friend. You're not broken. You're not a misfit. What's wrong here is just your systems. If you want to learn some of the best ones I've ever learned and actually applied that work, go ahead and check out this video right here, because I'm going to teach you all of them. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.